There's been some name calling that's been getting a lot of attention, specifically a Chinese official who allegedly described North Korea as a child. Can you give us some of the context, what that was all about?
Well, Reggie, that was referring to a particular cable where that dates back to April 2009, and it refers to a conversation with a Chinese vice foreign minister who did say that North Korea was acting out like a spoiled child in trying to get the attention of Washington by carrying out missile tests. Now, a lot of people say that that particular cable really illustrates the frustration on the part of the Chinese government when dealing with North Korea. Many people say that these cables merely confirm what a lot of China watchers have suspected, that China is frustrated with North Korea. And a lot of this is because there's been a long-held assumption that when North Korea acts out in any way, that China as a key ally would have to step in to try to smooth things over in order to really placate the international community, because it doesn't want to risk compromising its own relationships with countries such as the United States and South Korea. However, many people believe that these cables now are showing this growing frustration on the part of the Chinese in dealing with North Korea. Reggie?
So there is some symbolism there, perhaps, and certainly there's a gossipy kind of side to this where it's interesting to hear what one official may be calling another country. But beyond all that, is there something more important here that we should be learning about the ways in which these countries may have to react to each other in the future?
Well, there are a lot of backroom dealings that we are now hearing about, certainly because of these WikiLeaks and the releases of all of this information. However, what people here are saying is that going forward, China and North Korea are going to see some very sticky dealings, some awkward discussions, some tense discussions, particularly because of another interesting cable that had been released referring to a conversation earlier this year between an American ambassador and a South Korean diplomat. And in it, in this conversation, apparently the diplomat from South Korea had suggested that some of the younger members of the Chinese leadership are willing to embrace the idea of a unified Korea under the Seoul leadership under certain conditions rather than risk armed conflict in the region. So that was really an interesting bit of information. However, of course, it's very important to note that this information is secondhand, particularly that cable. And so as you had mentioned, a lot of this is just talk. And so just to the seriousness of it all really has to be debated and discussed and thoroughly checked out, and before it could be taken much more seriously. Certainly in terms of the longer held view, China has long held said that it is committed to its relationship with North Korea. So on an official level, we haven't heard any confirmation about some of these backroom dealings and some of this talk in the U.S. documents.